use a number of devices to extend their senses. One such device is a cell phone. With a cell phone, we can communicate over greater distances than we can just with our speaking voice. Another device that extends our senses is the microscope. The microscope allows us to see things smaller than can be seen with the naked eye, such as cells. When moving the microscope to your workstation, you want to carry it upright by the arm and the base as such. Once we transport the microscope to the table, we can unwind the power cord and plug it in. Before turning the microscope on, we want to make a few observations regarding it. First, we should look at the objective lenses, which are here. They're on a turnstile. What we want to observe here is if the objective lens is in the position of the lowest power, and right now it's not. So we're going to turn the objective lenses so the lowest power is in viewing position. Then we're also going to look at the stage. The stage should be all the way down. So we're going to use the course adjustment, which is this big knob here, to lower the stage all the way down. Now we're ready to turn the microscope on. The next thing we're going to do is clean our lenses. When we clean our lenses, we only use very fine lens paper. We never use a paper towel. And I always start by cleaning my ocular lenses, because that's where my eyes are going to be. And then I'll clean my objective lenses. And now we're ready to put in a slide. We will open up the stage clip, and we will close the stage clip after we insert the slide on a 90-degree angle. And now I will use my eyeballs to eyeball the specimen over the light, using the mechanical stage adjustments. Next, I will adjust the ocular lenses to the width of my eyes. And I should have, with both eyes open, I should have just one view of the light. And I can only see the light right now because I haven't focused the specimen. Now I'm going to use the course adjustment, which is this big knob. I'm going to turn it clockwise away from me until the specimen comes into focus. And I may have to use my mechanical stage adjustment to move it around. And we're in focus. Also note that there's a dimmer on the light, so you can control the amount of light that's passing through the specimen here. And this is key because sometimes you can get better contrast by either putting in less light or putting in more light. And furthermore, there's a diaphragm here that also controls the light that's passing through the condenser. And that's another way to get better contrast when viewing your specimen. Now that we've focused our specimen on the lowest power and we have determined the proper amount of light to shoot through the specimen, we can now kick this up to the next highest power. And this is an important point. Once we go up to the next highest power, we will never use the course adjustment again. We only use the course adjustment when on the lowest power. Now we use the fine adjustment, which is this smaller knob. And you should be able to just very slightly turn it clockwise away from you in most cases. And now we have a more focused view, and we're looking at the specimen even closer. And then we can go up to the next highest power. And once again, we only use the fine adjustment here. We are very close to the specimen now, and I can see very fine details. However, I am going to adjust the amount of light that's being shot through the specimen because it looks a little dark to my eyes. Let's see if we can use this diaphragm to, yes, much better. So it's all about the contrast. Now we're ready to go to the highest power of the microscope. And when we go to the highest power of this light microscope, we use a technique called oil immersion, where we use a translucent oil to fill the air gap between the lens and the slide. So the first thing we do is we adjust the objective lenses so the specimen is in between the highest power and the next to highest powers. And then we will put 1 drop of oil on the slide. Once that is done, then we're ready to move the highest powered objective lens into position. And the oil helps the refractive index, and it will give us sharper and clearer images and measurements. But now we will have to focus on oil immersion, and once again, we only use the fine adjustment. We never use the coarse adjustment unless we're on the lowest power. And the reason for that is that when we use the coarse adjustment, there's gross movement of the stage. And at some point, you could move the slide into the objective lens and crack the slide or damage the lens. And I'm going to adjust my light a little bit more. Very nice image here. I'm going to adjust my diaphragm. Yes. Yes, and now I've focused a very sharp image. Once we have made our final observations on the microscope using oil immersion, we have to clean up the microscope. So what we'll do is we will move the objective lenses back to the lowest power. And now that we're on the lowest power, we can once again use the coarse adjustment to adjust the stage. So we're going to lower the stage to its lowest position. And now, with a new piece of lens paper, I'm going to clean my ocular lenses, which is courtesy for the next person who will use the microscope. Now I'm going to clean my objective lenses, starting with the lowest power, to the next, and finally to the highest power, because remember the highest power is going to have oil on it. So we want to make sure we get all of that oil off of there. And now we're going to open the stage clip, we're going to remove the slide, and we're going to wipe the oil off of the slide using the lens paper. Now that our stage is in the lowest position, our objectives are on the lowest power, we're ready to turn off the microscope. And now we can unplug it and wrap it up. And once again, when we move the microscope, when we transport it back to its holding cubby, we want to use the arm and the base and keep the microscope in an upright position. In conclusion, the microscope is a wonderful tool for scientists to extend their senses and to increase their powers of observation.